Much for joining us. Um, yeah, cool. And then you can do the mute thing and everything. Thank you so much, Paulina. And Andy's here too. Annette is here. Awesome. Cool. Oh, is that Rob?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Rob is back. Okay.
Good, yeah.
Nice to see you all. It's cool being able to do it on Zoom so that we can actually.
Hi, Paulina. Hi, Natalie.
Hey, how are you, Rob? It's nice. It's nice to be able to do it on Zoom so that we can see you, because when we're also live streaming on Facebook, on 3 different Facebook pages, and we can't see unless we're looking at the phone, and we can see unless people make comments to let us know that that they can hear us. So this is a little more personable. So thank you all for coming. I hope that you're well. We hope that you're well, that you're safe, that your families and friends and loved ones are safe and well. We're going on week 8 or something of this pandemic, aren't we? So hopefully you are remaining entertained, and hopefully these chair yoga classes provide a little chance for you to stretch and strengthen. That's the whole idea. This class is sponsored by the Woody Foundation. They've been in collaboration with us at Dharma Yoga Studio for years, and they're such excellent partners. All the work that they do here in town to help people that have had brain and spinal cord injuries, or people that are paralyzed for any reason. They do a lot of work with the Sabrina Cohen Foundation, with the Alan T. Brown Foundation, with the Buonacani Fund, with the Miami Project to Cure Paralysis, all kinds of partners with, of course, the Impossible Dream. We are live streaming this class from Biscayne Bay, obviously, so it's not a backdrop. It's not one of those fancy Zoom backdrops. It's really the ocean. It's really the bay behind us. Today, we have pretty much a straight shot for the bay, but we have downtown Miami over here. We have Grove Isle over here. We have Edgewater Drive, kind of Coconut Grove over there. We have Key Biscayne over here. And once we get started and start moving, our crew, our very small skeleton crew of 2, which is the captain and first mate, hopefully will give you some view of the water to help you get even more inspired. This is an amazing boat. She was designed from the keel up to be wheelchair accessible, and she's spectacular. 60 feet, 85-foot mast, going from down below all the way up. This boat goes on educational missions every summer. Right around now is about the time that it usually leaves for a voyage up the eastern seaboard to do all kinds of missions in different towns, different ports, missions with advocacy groups, with vet centers, with rehab hospitals, and the dream of the founders of the Impossible Dream Project is to show people that are in wheelchairs that there is a boat like this that is specifically designed for people on wheels. So she's got plenty of space. We've had like 12 or 15 people, I want to say, at once on this boat. So double hull catamaran is perfectly stable, just beautiful. And not only is it uplifting for anyone to be on a boat, but in particular when you can see that something is designed with that kind of idea. It's a barrier-free design. Hey, everything is made so that people in chairs can get on and get off easily. Hydraulic lifts to get you from the dock up, lifts to get you down to the berths and to the bathrooms. It's just fantastic. And when people can see that you not only can come on a boat like this for recreation, but that you can actually be part of the crew. It's so eye-opening and so heart-opening. It's mind-blowing as well, let's just put it that way. So we're very happy to be live streaming these classes. We used to teach, for years we were teaching a wheelchair yoga class at Dharma Studio, thanks to the sponsorship of the Woody Foundation. But it's really hard. The barriers that people in chairs have to face make it really difficult for transportation, And now that this pandemic has made us, kind of forced us to do all of our yoga classes online, we're like, why haven't we been live streaming these chair yoga classes the whole time. I mean, obviously, it cuts out all the hassle of driving, of trying to find parking. So here we are, and my name is Natalie. I'm going to be your guide. I'm very happy to be here with you today. Most importantly, we want to make sure that you're safe and happy. We send you the best wishes, of course. And the idea that we have to do these classes is not only to do yoga stretching and yoga strengthening exercises, but also to work on our respiration. And within the breath, when we really go into breath studies and breath work, we have a chance to work on our anxiety, because a lot of us are facing new challenges with this pandemic, and the challenges come in many themes. So when we set out to do breath work and to eventually start moving with the breath's rhythm, we really can get in touch with something that helps us to lower our stress levels, and also it helps us to work on our powers of concentration. So we talk about strengthening and stretching the body, but it's kind of harder to talk about stretching the mind or strengthening the mind. But when you think about it, when we say that, when we use those terms, we're really talking about working on our ability to focus and to hold our concentration. And let's face it, when we're really stressed out and we're full of anxiety, that's precisely one of the great challenges, is that we can't focus on anything else. It's really hard to draw the focus away from the source of anxiety. So I'm gonna guide you through some breathing exercises, and we'll be moving to the breath's rhythm. And if you stay focused, if you stay with me, and if you notice when your mind is wandering, then you're working toward that goal of one-pointed concentration. And by the way, that'll lead us naturally into a practice of meditation. And it's useful and it's practical. So enough talking. Now, let's notice the breath. So I'm going to suggest that you take your hands, you spread them out, and you put them on your own body. Anywhere you can feel your body moving as you breathe. So this is how we usually start the class. And it takes a moment to settle down and to really focus on the breath. Right now we're not changing the breath, we're just observing it. And with the hands on the torso, it's a little bit easier to notice the rhythm of it. You've been breathing well enough your whole life. You made it here. But probably we breathe unconsciously. So now just notice how your body expands as you breathe in and how it deflates as you breathe out. If you can't feel that, move your hands to a new place. And try to sit up nice and tall now. And you'll notice that as you try to bring your focus to the breath, even when you have your hands on your body, chances are the mind wanders, spirals away to another subject. Try to bring it back. And one of the techniques, the breath techniques that we can use to keep us a little more present and focused, is to make the breath audible. So in this class, a lot of times what we do is we breathe in through the nose and we breathe out through the mouth. So it might feel a little bit weird or awkward. And that's kind of the point, after all. We're rarefying the breath so that it's not the normal breath that we've grown accustomed to. This is an assignment. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And when that style of breath kind of like disappears, when you can't hear the breath anymore, notice in that moment that you are distracted. And rather than going into that thought, no, go back to the breath. You'll be able to think about that thought later. We have an hour together. Let's make the best of it. In through the nose, and out through the mouth. So on the boat, we have the rocking of the waves, we have the sound of the waves, we have the salty air, we have the breeze. All these things are reminders of the power of nature. And we're sustained by the breath, so feel that wave-like rhythm. So we're going to keep breathing like this for a lot of the class. Now I'm going to ask you to take your hands down, put them near your knees, and make your arms as straight as you can. Now we're going to start to lift and lower the arms to the rhythm of the breath. So on your next inhale, stretch your arms out. Your fingertips are still aimed down. And as you exhale, relax your arms. Okay, just keep on doing that. Inhale, stretch the arms out. And exhale, bring the arms back. So now that we're adding movement, it's a little easier to stay focused on the activity, on the assignment. Do that several times more. Maybe your arms will go a little higher every time. Go back and forth. And if you lift your arms, see if you can get that feeling like your sides are growing longer. Like your spine is growing longer. Let's do about 5 more. Inhale through the nose, lift the arms. Exhale through the mouth, arms come down. And 4 more. And 3 more. And 2 more. And last one. Inhale, reach up with the arms, high as you comfortably can. And then exhale, bring the arms down. Okay, we're going to keep on going to the rhythm of the breath. Keep that style of breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now it's going to be moving the head and neck. So on your next breath in, lift your chin, look up toward the sky. And on your next breath out through the mouth, bring your chin down toward your chest. Okay, do that back and forth. Inhale, lift your chin up. So we're just gently introducing some stretches into the neck. And remember, the assignment is to go with the breath. So what we're trying to do here is slow down. Celebrate the joy of movement. Three more. Two more. And let's do one more like that. Inhale, lift the head up so you're looking up toward the sky. Exhale through the mouth, bring the head down so you're looking down toward your lap. And then bring your head into neutral. Okay, keep that style of breath. We're going to do something else with the head and neck. This time it's going to be letting the head go from one side to the other. Okay, so we'll do several sides from side to side, and then we're going to hold it on one side. So keep your body up nice and tall. Root down through the feet, root down through the legs, shins, thighs, pelvis in place. So take a nice deep breath in, and on your next exhale through the mouth, let your head just fall to one side. Okay, keep on doing that. Inhale back to the center, and exhale, go to the other side. So you'll notice you feel a stretch on the neck. You'll feel it more if you let your shoulders draw away from your ears. Let's do that a few times more. And of course, you move in your own way. So either the ear comes directly toward the shoulder, or the chin comes a little bit toward the chest, whatever. You're not being picky. What we do want to be precise about is moving to the breath's rhythm. That style of movement is precisely what holds promise to calm down the nervous system. So let's do that once more each side. And then the next time you let your head fall to the right, keep it there. Let both shoulders draw away from your ears, and really be specific about moving the left shoulder down away from your ear. And you'll feel a stretch on the left side of the neck. Take 3 more breaths there. Nice deep breaths. Tune into that whole area that we're treating here. Fine tune the movement. Maybe the chin comes forward a little bit. So you're searching for what's comfortable. Now, on the next inhale, let's bring the head back to neutral. And then let's do the same thing to the other side. Let your head fall to the left. Both shoulders draw down, but the right shoulder draws down in particular. You can move the head a little bit. So a lot of our friends that are in wheelchairs, they push a lot. We get a lot of tightness in the neck and the shoulders. So this kind of thing is helpful. Let's do that again. So let's come back to neutral. Take a deep breath there. And then exhale. Let your head fall to the right again. This time we're going to add a little bit of something. So fine tune the movement. Keep that style of breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And now we're going to take our hand, one of our hands, and we're going to just gently put it on the top of the head. So we're not really pushing down or pulling down. It's more like just the weight of the hand helps to intensify the sensation. Take 5 breaths. 5 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. 3, 2. Another nice deep round of breath. Slowly release that exhale. We're going to bring the head into neutral. We're going to release that hand. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side, of course. So you take a deep breath in the center. And on the next exhale, the head goes to the left. We draw the right shoulder down. Same thing, other side. It'll feel different. The other hand, or whatever hand, just presses down. Maybe not presses down, just like the weight of it. It's nothing extreme. And take some deep breaths and notice how the sensation might change just by the wave-like action of the breath, just by the expanding and deflating. 3 more breaths. And then let's bring our head back into neutral. Let's let the arm relax. Okay, so let's keep on going with some ideas for the neck and shoulders. So let's start to make circles. So we're going to make several circles in one direction, and then we're going to do the opposite direction. So I'm not going to boss you around excessively. So you start in the direction you like, and we'll make like 10 circles in that direction. So go with the breath. So as your shoulders are lifted up, that's when you're inhaling. And as your shoulders are going down, that's how you exhale. Let's just say that. Nice deep circles. So make them as wide as you can. And to really get into it, of course, you're going to move your arms as well. You might hear some cracks and pops, or you might feel some cracks and pops. So really try to articulate these shoulder joints. And in order to get them to really move, you're moving your arms, you're probably moving your rib cage, your chest. I know I said 10. Did I say 10? I have no idea how many we did, but let's just say 10. Now let's do the opposite direction. And maybe you can notice that one shoulder likes one move more than the other. So let's do one shoulder at a time. So come into neutral, sit nice and tall. Okay, we're going to go with the breath again. So in general, when the shoulder is lifted high, that's when we're doing an inhale. When the shoulder drops down, we'll do an exhale. We'll do one shoulder, so we'll alternate. And then we'll do one shoulder at a time, alternating the other way, okay? So go for it. Go whatever direction you want to go first, but one shoulder and then the other shoulder. So now, to really make the move complete, you'll notice you just start to quite naturally rotate and turn your upper body. So we're involving a little bit more of the torso. Slow it down so you go with the breath. And notice if you have any tension, notice where it is. If you have any tight spots, acknowledge them. And a lot of our sensitivities have to do with our history, with our habits, our postural habits, or what's required of us every day. Now let's go in the opposite direction. So remember that style of breath. Whatever direction you were going, now you just go the opposite way. So we're just taking some time to really slow down and stretch out a little bit. We're just warming up the shoulders, warming up the rib cage. Again, if you notice your mind wandering, please bring it back to this amazing view of Biscayne Bay. Let's do one more each side. And then we come back to neutral. Okay, so you see we've got a little bit of a twist going there. So we're going to keep on going with this idea of twist. So first we're going to use the core of the body to get that twist to happen. So take your hands again onto the front of the body. Spread out your fingers so you're searching for as much territory as you can cover. Okay, let's start with a nice deep breath in, everybody. Breathe in. Legs are rooted down, hips are rooted down. And as you exhale, turn your upper body to one direction. Feel that squeezing, that contraction. And as you inhale, bring yourself back to the center, facing forward. And as you exhale, turn your upper body the other way. So go back and forth, just like that. So slow it down so you can really use the whole out breath to make your twist. And sometimes the sides of your chair or the wheels of your chair or the back of your chair interfere with your arm position, so let's just adjust. Let's do that twice more each side. So the inhale brings us back to the center. With the exhale, we turn. The inhale brings us back to center. And the exhale, we turn. Use the core muscles. Find that control and stability. Inhale to the center again. Exhale, turn, twist. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist the other way. Okay, let's come back to neutral, back to center. Okay, and then let's involve a little bit more of the rib cage. So we're going to put together a few of the things that we've already done. Let's go back to one of the first things we did where we lifted and lowered the head. But now we're going to involve the shoulders as well. So it's going to involve some of those movements that we did with the rotation of the shoulders, right? And if you already know where we're going with this, then go for it. So as you inhale, you bring your chest forward, you lift your head, you broaden the collarbones. And as you exhale, you drop the head, you sink the chest in, chest back, you round the upper back. So go through that back and forth. So I see we have Marina here from White Plains. And we had someone from Alabama, Mike from Alabama. And I see we have Cowboy here. We have Espartaco here too. Nice. Thank you for joining us. Go back and forth. So we're moving the head and neck. We're moving the shoulders. We're moving the rib cage. So if you need to put your arms in a different place to make it feel good and make it feel complete, do that. So as you're making this move of the head, the neck, the shoulders, the rib cage, the waistline, And as you're matching this movement to the breath, notice all the available sensation. Really try to get as much out of it as you can. Let's do a few more. Inhaling, lifting the head, looking up, chest forward. Exhale, dropping the head, looking down, round the back. Inhale, heart comes forward. Exhale, we round. And then again, inhale, heart comes forward. And then exhale, round the back. Okay, and then come forward into neutral. And now we're going to do something else with the rib cage, okay? So for this next move, we're going to try to keep the lower body rooted. So whether you can move your legs or not, it's important to get that sense of stability, of anchoring down through the toes, through the feet, through the shins. So visualize it. Visualize that energy, that solidity in the legs, in the thighs as well, in the hips as well. And now we're just going to move the upper body to one side and then back to center and the upper body to the other side. So go back and forth. So we're trying to keep the shoulders kind of level to the ground now. So it's not that we're tipping to one direction. No, we're just moving the rib cage to one side, back to center, and to the other side. Back to center. So try that. So visualize the legs as being actively stationary. Yeah. So it's really kind of like it's a belly dancing move, isn't it? It's one of those isolations that we see in a lot of different kinds of dance. And speaking of dancers, I hope that John Beauregard is here with us today. He is? Good. Of course. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come back to center and we're going to make circles, okay? So first, let's try to do it with using the hands. So either we're going to put the hands on the thighs or we're going to put the hands on the sides of the chair, the wheels of your chair, whatever you got. And we're going to bring the chest forward, so a little bit of an arch. We're going to move the chest to the right. We're going to round the back, move the chest to the left, and forward. So keep on going. Go back and forth. Get as much movement out of it as you can. And here, if you feel like you want to lift one shoulder and lift the other shoulder, you go for it. So don't feel repressed. So go back and forth. Just keep on going. Go with your breath. And everyone is going to have their own unique experience. So do the moves, see what style of breath works for you. Does it feel better to inhale in this one section or exhale in that one section? So you decide. Let's do a few more in this one direction. Involve your shoulder blades in the back of the body. Involve the chest. And we're using the core muscles as well. And now, other direction. And it might help to really anchor yourself with the hands as well. So you can move into the back of the body. Nice. And then we're going to come all the way back into neutral. We're going to sit up nice and tall. Take a few nice deep breaths. Let's do a few sighs. Deep breath in through the nose, audibly out through the mouth. Take a few breaths like that. So making these audible sighs, it kind of, the sound of a sigh for all cultures is a sound of relief and release. Of course, it can also be a sound of exasperation, but let's make it positive release. let's keep on going. Let's warm up the legs a little bit. So let's take the hands and we're going to press down on the thighs and we're going to go from the hips to the knees, back and forth, back and forth. So a couple weeks ago, we had a request from someone to, I think it was Marina actually, to do some leg movements, you know, to leg strengthening exercises. And obviously, you know, everyone is unique, so we can't assume anything about our audience. So what we're going to do next is we're going to do like an oppositional exercise where we're going to be using the arms, the legs, the torso, and then those of you who can move your legs, you can move them. But for right now, let's just warm them up to prepare them. So by pressing down with the hands on the thighs, we're kind of stimulating the circulation. That's always good. So when we're making moves with our muscles, of course, you know, it helps our circulation, you know, but the circulatory system has a pump. The heart works as a pump, obviously, to get the blood moving. But with the lymphatic system, there's no pump like that. So movement is really important. And so is this kind of massage action, you know, to get the interstitial fluid moving. And there's a lot within the lymph that's healing. Okay, now, next one, we can lean forward with our forearms on the legs and kind of like rock back and forth. And Woody brought this to our attention, that this is a more effective move to lean forward and use the weight of the body. So some of you might like to do it like this, kind of rocking back and forth. And then also, let's be really careful for those of us who are on blood thinners. You know, we don't want to, you know, weigh so heavily that we're going to cause any kind of bruising. So please be sensitive to that. And that's especially important for the next option, which is to take the hands into fists and kind of bounce them on the legs. And of course, just be careful. When we do this kind of bouncing kind of near the head of the femur, where it goes toward the knee here, you know, you can, if your heels are directly underneath your knees, you know, if your shins are perpendicular to the ground, it's kind of cool. The vibration goes through the lower bones of the legs to the feet. And that's good for bone health. Now let's take the hands and just kind of put them on the knees. Notice the breath. When we do more percussive moves like that, it's kind of cool how the body just responds by bringing us more oxygen. Our breath deepens quite naturally. And go through that style of breathing again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Okay, we're going to put together some moves that we've already done together today, right? And it's going to involve like this kind of action that we use while walking, while running. Not only in those movements, we use it in swimming. And let's not limit ourselves to terrestrial mobility when we're using our imagination for this next one, because we can invoke all kinds of images. But the reason that that these kind of exercises are important, this kind of oppositional balancing exercise, is that we're using both hemispheres of the brain. We're making that connection, okay? So let me just put it out here that we're going to basically be doing this kind of move with the arms, okay? And it's not really natural, so it's not like we're, you know, it's more like a cartoonish kind of theatrical kind of move that we're doing here. And since, you know, we have the chair here, it's kind of like interrupting, so it's not going to be exactly a back and forth move, but essentially we're moving one arm and we're moving the other arm. And let your upper body move as well. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to touch with the hand. Whatever hand is in front, we're going to touch the opposite leg. So that way we're sending a message to the body, to the brain, that we are fully engaged right now. And if you can lift your foot as you touch that leg, do that. And then visualize yourself floating in the water that you see behind me. And the water these days is incredibly clear. Believe it or not, this bay is only 12 feet deep. So when there are fewer boats, it really gets clear. So now visualize yourself floating in the water, and you're just moving freely, all limbs, stretching. And the cool thing about visualizing floating in the water is that we are going to float. We're weightless. So movement is free and easy. So those of you who are watching from cold places today, you'd like to know that it's about, what's the temperature in Miami today? We're in the 80s. The water is delicious. Perfect temperature. So let's not limit ourselves to any kind of stiff movement. Now visualize yourself on your backs in the water and just start to move your arms, and if you can move your legs, you move your legs as well. But visualize yourself floating where you have that freedom of movement. And visualize that exhilaration of being in the water because you want to be. And we've seen dolphins in this water behind us, surrounding us really. Friendly turtles, friendly dolphin. Cormorants as well, diving into the water. Really stretch long and visualize yourself being supported by the water. So you're floating, so you've got that freedom of movement, that lightness. And then slowly just bring your arms down. Now imagine that, since we've been swimming, and, on a boat, it's good etiquette to bring your own towel. So let's say you've just gotten off the boat and you realize, oh, I forgot my towel. Shake it off. So shake off your hands, shake the water off. And this kind of move is important because it gets the circulation to the fingertips. And if you can do the same with your feet as well, do that. And then bring yourself to a stationary position and just take some nice deep breaths. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Another deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Another deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. So when we do stretches like that, it feels nice because we're really involving the limbs. You can feel the circulation travel through the arms. So let's go with that idea that we're gonna do a little bit more. Espartaco, you like that, huh? Espartaco is still swimming. He's going for it. Le gustó. Cute. So we're gonna keep the lower body as it is. It's stationary, nice and stationary. And we're gonna turn the upper body to the right. So I'm saying right and left just so I have a greater chance of making sense. So take a nice deep breath in, lower body rooted and strong. And then as you exhale, turn your upper body to the right and hold yourself there with your arms. Okay, so you're using your hands or using your arms, whatever you got. And move your shoulders around so that you're getting whatever kind of stretch you want. So hold yourself, your upper body in that twist. And we're going to do the rounding and arching again. So take a deep breath in, lift your chest up. And then as you exhale through the mouth, round your back. And as you inhale, lift your chest up again. And as you exhale, round your back again. So go back and forth. And if you want to add your left arm, do that. You can reach your left arm up toward the sky. And as you exhale, you round the back and you bring your left arm parallel to the ground or maybe even lower. Go for it. Inhale and exhale. And sometimes we do this with the hand behind the head. So, in other words, you make it work for you. So sometimes we have to do a few rounds before we realize what the benefit is, or before we realize how we can personalize it so that we're getting the stretch that we need. Let's do a few more. Go with the breath. So really try to be faithful to that rhythm of the breath. Let's do one more round of breath. So you put that left arm however you like it. And then when we make the exhale, we're going to stay there for a few breaths and try to find that little shift or that little move that makes it interesting to you personally, and stay there for a few rounds of breath. So make your last exhale and slowly, slowly find your way back into neutral. Bring your torso all the way back, facing forward. A nice few deep breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. So I don't know about you, but I feel like my left side is a lot more stretched out now than my right side. But then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Maybe you feel something like that as well. We're all asymmetrical. So what we try to do in a yoga practice is, try to balance out complementary actions and ideas. So let's start with a deep breath in, facing center. Remember, lower body is rooted. And then as you exhale, you turn your upper body to the left. Okay, pause. So remember, it took us a while to work on the other side. So now we hold with the arms. We turn the upper body. Try to keep the pelvis rooted, the hips, the thighs rooted, knees, shins, feet. And then we'll start to introduce that movement. So make sure you've got a good hold with your hands. And as you inhale, you lift the chest up. And as you exhale, you round the back. So back and forth. So articulate as much as you can. We're moving the neck, we're moving the rib cage, we're moving the shoulders, we're moving the spine. So think about it, the spine is really a bunch of joints, geniusly lined up for maximum movement and shock absorption. So articulate as much as you're able. And of course, we can add the movement of the right arm, if that works for you. And if you're using that right arm, really stretch it long because you'll probably get more sensation. So it can be done with a hand down, as I was just demonstrating, or the arm reaching like this, or even the hand behind the head. What's important is that you do it in your way. Let's do about 5 more with the breath. And then we'll hold the last one. So the breath is helping to keep us in the present moment. 2 more rounds of breath before we hold this position. And then we're going to go for it. We're going to round. Take your grip with your hands, whatever you got, and take some nice deep breaths. Feel free to experiment. Make little micro movements, little changes, little shifts. And then let's come all the way back to neutral. Sit up nice and tall. Okay. So let's take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Take a few more deep breaths like that. Notice what your body is telling you. And then, let's take the hands together, rub them into each other. You're warming up your hands. And then take one hand and rub the back of the other hand. And switch, go to the other side. So we all know that it's really important to massage our extremities, but very few of us actually do it very often, I think. So squeeze one hand with the other. And now we're going to take our hands, we're going to press them together, right? So line up the fingers and then press the hands into each other. So your fingertips are kind of aiming forward toward the screen, and get your forearms so they're parallel to the floor, and squeeze your hands together. So the heels of the hands are pressing together, the rims of the palms are pressing together. So you're feeling it in the muscles of the chest, and even involve the muscles in the upper back. So feel your shoulder blades. So visualize your shoulder blades kind of triangular. So visualize the bottom tip of the shoulder blades pressing forward, like it's nudging your heart forward. So that's a pretty thinly veiled metaphor. So we got to nudge the heart forward. Now, keep on doing that. So you use the muscles in the chest and the arms and separate your fingers. So I'm just showing you like this. You're separating your fingers. You're still pressing your hands into each other. Okay, so this one's for Rob, for wheelie one locks. So keep your fingers separated, tilt your fingertips up, maybe even toward your chest, and then forward and down. And then do whatever, position of your upper arms works for you to get you to make this rotation. So a lot of us get tightness in the hands and in the forearms and in the wrists from using the hands so much. For whatever reason, a lot of people are spending a lot of time on the computer. And then shake your hands out again. And let's interlace the fingers. So for some of us, it takes a while to get the fingers interlaced, right? So you separate them and you try to root them together at the base, right? And if it's difficult for you to do, then take one hand into a fist and hold on with the other hand. That's going to be fine, right? And then if you have your fingers interlaced, squeeze with your fingertips onto the other hand and have your forearms parallel to the ground pretty much. And imagine you're pulling your hands away from each other, pulling your arms in opposite directions. So we're feeling it in the muscles of the shoulders. Okay. And then start to make circles like you're polishing a shield in front of your heart. And this is where Macaulay started doing that Saturday Night Fever dance. Yeah, with his arms. So go one direction, go the other direction. And keep the activity in the arms. Okay, now turn the palms down. Okay, so make that coordinated wave-like action. This is for Macaulay. Let one shoulder lift, other shoulder lift, go back and forth. And then opposite direction. How do we do that? Is it the opposite direction? Now I don't know. Keep on going. Nice. I see you, Melissa. And then from here, we're going to release and we're going to stretch the arms out. Lean your heart forward. Guess what? We're coming in for an embrace. Remember back in the day when we could hug each other? And Miami was famous, is famous for hugging. It's going to be hard. Wrap arms around yourself because you deserve a hug. One arm in front of the other, on top of the other. Rock your rib cage. Rock your torso from side to side. So this is often the way that little kids, when they have a doll or a kitten or a puppy, it's kind of like a theatrical child's way to embrace. So whatever elbow is on the top, we're going to do the opposite. So open the arms, lean your chest forward, and changing the way you're holding your hands will help you get the stretch in your chest. Change the stretch. And then opposite elbow on the top, rock from side to side. And when we do this rocking action, sometimes we hear little cracks and pops. It's like a little minor chiropractic adjustment. And let's do two more. Inhale, lean forward, stretch open the chest. So flex or extend at the wrists, see if that changes. Lift or lower the arms. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, opposite elbow on the top. And then again, last one. Inhale, stretch open. Big hug. Other arm on the top. Never thought we'd get such nostalgia for a hug. It's been so long. So bring yourselves into neutral position now, and we're gonna go into our final exercise. We're gonna go into our exercise of gratitude, and this is important. So we like to take the hands to the heart center, so the symbolic heart center. And of course, you know, it's associated with the organ that's beating in the chest. However, when we're talking about the symbolism, we're talking about those things that are associated with the heart. I mean, different cultures, different times, it's an archetype for love, affection, patience, tolerance, compassion. These are things that our friends in difficult circumstances understand. These are things that our old-timers understand, people who've lived and survived difficult experience, and we are surviving them together today. So the virtues associated with the heart are more important now that we're all facing this pandemic together. Patience, we need to be patient with each other. We need to be tolerant of each other. And it feels so good to be compassionate to others because we know we deserve compassion as well. The way that we seal class is with an exercise of gratitude, also associated with the heart. So here's where I ask you to acknowledge someone or something you're grateful for. Visualize that person, that thing in great detail. And imagine that we could collect the gratitude, intensify it, concentrate it. So let's do that. Inhale, reach up like you're gathering it. And exhale, bring it to the heart. Okay, do that for the next few breaths, all the while keeping your mind focused, your heart focused on what you're grateful for, or on whom you're grateful. Do that twice more. And the next time the hands come to the heart, just keep them there, please. Now, if we were together, physically together, we could share out loud and say out loud what we're grateful for. This is the most poignant part of the class. I guess to hear people say aloud what they're grateful for is really heartwarming. But since we're practicing social distancing, we can't do that. So I'm just going to ask you to acknowledge what you're grateful for. And I will tell you, just because I'm the only one here, I'll tell you I'm grateful that you came to class today. I'm grateful that you came back. We're all grateful. Everybody from the Impossible Dream, from this amazing catamaran, from the Impossible Dream Foundation, everybody from the Woody Foundation here in Miami. They've been sponsoring this class for years and making it possible. Everybody from Dharma Studio, and all of you out there, our friends at New Mobility Magazine, our friends at the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, our friends at Spalding Rehab, our friends at Burke in White Plains, our friends at CRAB. Tell us what does CRAB stand for again? Chesapeake Region Accessible Boating. Cool. So so please remember to stay safe, to stay nice, to stay in touch with your innate goodness. Remember, you're perfect as you are. And please give us your feedback about these classes, anything you want us to include, things that you don't want us to include. Let's just keep a dialogue going, because it's so important. It's so cool to get your feedback and give us ideas about what to highlight. And if you want to know about the mission of the Impossible Dream, if you want to know about their trip that they take every year up the seaboard, where they stop at different ports to do work with rehab centers, different hospitals, with advocacy groups, with vet centers. If you want to know about their ambassadorship program, look up their website, Impossible Dream, theimpossibledream.org, and also the videos that we've been doing of these chair yoga classes are uploaded onto their YouTube channel, so you can subscribe to that and you can watch those. So thank you everybody for coming, and now check out this view. Thank you, Deborah.
Thanks, Natalie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, Sardato. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Nene. Gracias por venir. Con su suegro. Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Cowboy. Look at this view, everybody.
Nice.
Look at Miami.
Beautiful. You have a nice